Hello. I think we're live. We should know any minute now. You are watching the pre-production element of the Xander Gibb show. And we're just sharing to various pages before we go live everywhere. Love how the picture that Facebook chooses is always kind of a really unflattering picture, but that's fine. We can live with that. I can't believe it's Monday again. I really can't. It's like, where does the time go? We're just getting set up. Sharing the links, making a list, checking it twice. Gonna find out, report the liberals to Vice. Oh, did I say that? That's mean. You can't say that about liberals, Xander. Liberals are the salt of the earth. Just gonna share the YouTube link for those of you that like to watch me on the big screen. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Right, here we go. We're just getting the YouTube link. We will be ready to start the show very soon, I hope. Takes such a lot of setup. So let me tell you about my experiences on TikTok today. I found out that I'm homophobic because I disagreed with a gay person. So as I'm gay too, does that not mean we'll disappear into Narnia? Well, I'm kind of unsure of the rules, really. Here we go. We're just sharing the YouTube link to various places. So what do you guys out there think? If two gay people disagree, and one happens to be a liberal, and one happens to, sorry, can't say liberal because it's offensive to people who are actually liberal. If they disagree, does that make the conservative gay person homophobic? Answers on a postie card, because I think it's the biggest load of shit ever, but there you go. There we go. We are going live everywhere. Let's just share to a few places and pages. Hello to all the early birds. Julio, welcome. Apparently we went down the storm the other night on your show. Just going to share this. Hello, my Gina. I will say hello to everybody individually. I just got to get the show shared to all of the groups. Welcome to everybody that is in the live feed. And as I said, we will turn down the volume. Turn down the volume. Yeah. And we're just going to share to all of the pages that let us. Being careful not to share it in any of the sites, ooh, nearly did, that don't like me sharing. Like the local swaps and sales get really pissed when I share to their group. By mistake, because, you know, being human, I often make mistakes. I bet you didn't know that, did you? I make mistakes because I'm human. So what did you guys think about that? As I said, I was just saying I was on TikTok earlier, and I disagreed with someone who happened to be gay. And they said that I'm homophobic for disagreeing. Where do you guys stand on that? I mean, what's it going to be? Pocketbooks at dawn? I really don't know. We're nearly there with the sharing. Feel free to click the share button and share to any groups that are conservative I think we're nearly there, which is good because we're going to be going out live any second. Got a great show planned for you today. Are we nearly there? We are there. So, without further ado, they are asswipes chat. Got to get people's names right. We are going to go live with the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nothing happened to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandemonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. Talking to you from the Xandemonium Network, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I'm Xander Gibb, and the auto cue is doing its own freaking thing again. I'll be getting on my soapbox today. I'm breaking down and analyzing some of the real news stories that they just don't tell you the truth about, and giving you the chance to get on your soapbox too in our phone-in. And in part 2, we break down today's hottest topics with Peter Boykin from Go Right News. That's if he doesn't get arrested before he comes on the show. You can have your say in the feed below. People who were watching last week will get that. And as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go, and you can follow me on social media. Alas, not on Twitter yet, because they've not reinstated my account. I don't know what I've done wrong. Maybe it's because I'm a conservative. Maybe it's because I'm a gay homophobe. Who knows, and who freaking cares? You can also find me at xandergibb.com. And everything you need to know is there. Let's come to the live feed. Swap mouses, whatever it is. I'm going to say hello to everyone individually. Let's just go backwards up the list. Hello to Chet. Welcome to the show. Hello to my Gina. Hello to Julio, whose show I was on the weekend. If you didn't check that out, you can find it on my page, on Julio's page, on Reactionary Times. I was also on Chet's show, Freedom on Deck, over the weekend, so check that out too. Get your fix of the Gibster. Chet says liberals have no balls, and I agree. Who else is out there? Hello to Sherry. Welcome to the show, Sherry. I hope you're good. Hello to Janie. Hello to anyone I have missed. I think I've covered everybody. Click that share button now. I'm sure I missed someone. I'm apologizing in advance if I did, but welcome to everybody who's watching or listening and not in the live feed. If you want to join in the live, if you want to join in the live chat, you can join us on Facebook. Go to the Zanny G page on Facebook. So, and now it's time for Xander's News of the World. Conservative author and activist Michelle Malkin was brutally assaulted and prevented from speaking as she made her way to the speaker's platform at a pro-public rally in downtown Denver on Sunday. The patriotic event, the 6th annual Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, billed as family-friendly, was advertised in advance on social media, including at Malkin's Twitter, where she has 2.2 million followers. She was live streaming her event from her cell phone on Periscope on Sunday afternoon as the situation deteriorated after masked thugs wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts two speakers, and then set upon them a diminutive child of immigrants from the Philippines who legally moved to the USA in the late 1960s. Malkin, who was born in Philadelphia in 1970, describes herself as a little brown woman with a big mouth. Malkin linked to the entire 35-minute long video on Periscope. So to me, this is disgusting. The ideology of Black Lives Matter, the organization, is getting worse and worse. And if they can attack someone who is brown-skinned, whether she happens to be Asian or not, they really don't give a frig about black people. And I'm absolutely disgusting that this has happened. Not only to, number one, to a woman, to the child who is the child of immigrants. She also happens to be conservative, and she classifies herself as a brown woman. And to me, this is internalized racism is absolutely disgusting. And if you can treat people like this, you need to be classified just like Antifa as a terror organization. So I'm not happy at all about that. Chet says, yes, Xander's interview is on our podcast video version of Freedom on Deck, freedomondeck.com. Just go to the Facebook page or to the website. Go and check it out, folks. It was a very interesting interview, not just because it was with me, but that's a big part of it. So the liberal media mocks and disrespects people of faith in America all the time, but now we've got an election coming up. CNN rushes to prop up Joe Biden as some sort of deeply religious man, suggesting he can appeal to evangelicals. Now, is this with or without the money laundering, ignoring his son, sleeping with his dead brother's wife, sleeping with hookers, and taking cocaine, etc., etc.? Now, it's being suggested that Sleepy Joe Biden is a man of faith, which could apparently help him win over some of the white evangelicals. Joe sat with his wife, Jill, in the first pew of church the Sunday after Valentine's Day, ahead of the state's primary. As we say in my church, the church of the hairy legs is that, Joe. He says, showing the sign of the cross, bless me, Father, I need some help. It's natural turn of phrases for a practicing Roman Catholic who has been waging the battle of the soul for the nation. Wait, is the battle of the soul related to pedophilia? Let's not get into pedophilia in the Catholic Church tonight, but I'm sure you get what I mean. Since he launched his campaign in 2020, he said, if I am elected, whoever I am, whatever for, I will restore the Obama policy that existed before the Supreme Court's Hobby Lobby ruling, providing an exemption for house of worships and accommodation for non-profit organizations with religious missions. He obviously was reading from a cue card because he would never have remembered half of the things that he was required to say in a statement released. Oh, it was released by his campaign, so yeah, he wouldn't have had to remember this. So let's just get this right. Basically, the left are now trying to set Joe Biden up as some kind of like religious icon. He's admitted, we've seen him sniffing kids' hair and touching them inappropriately. Don't get me there on Catholicism, because it's not Catholics that are to blame for that. He's ignored all the things that his son has done, and I know we're not responsible for the things our kids do, but surely you should be chastising them at least a little. So I'm pissed about that too. Chet says what they did to Michelle Malkin was absolutely disgusting. Yes, it was. And in all honesty, if that had been someone on the left that was an Asian person that referred to themselves as being brown skinned, there would be an uproar today in the media. Chet said, did anyone see the release of the transcripts from 85 with Biden saying the N-word multiple times? Yeah, isn't it funny? I want to get that video. I want to share it everywhere because it's interesting that he has the support of the black community, but he spent 40 years trying to keep them on the plantation, as it were. The nation's mayors backed a call for reparations to 41 million black people, a program that could cost taxpayers $6.2 quadrillion. Now, the Conference of U.S. Mayors released a letter backing Democrat. That was Freudian, wasn't it? Democrat, I said, but actually the word was Democrat. Plan to form a reparations commission to come up with payments for slavery. We recognize and support your legislation as a concrete first step in our larger reckoning as a nation and a next step guide to the actions of both federal and local leaders who have promised to do better by our black residents, said the letter from the conference. President Greg Fisher, mayor of Louisville, in introducing the bill to her house last year, Jackson Lee said the commission aims to study the impact of slavery on continuing discrimination of African Americans resulting in directly and indirectly from slavery to the segregation and desegregation process on the present day. Are we sick of this shit, folks? Aren't we sick of this talk of reparations? So if black people are getting reparations for slavery, all of the victims of black crime should get reparations for how they've been treated too. Can we have a show of hands? Can you say yes or no, or whether you disagree in the live feed? Janie says, what would happen if white people took the knee during a black national anthem? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Chet says, how can any minority support Biden? It proves... damn. Page goes up while I'm reading it. It proves, where are we? That they have no moral compass. He also says, I'm listening to the Black National Anthem, No Way. Hello to Swoop. Welcome to the show. An Oregon county has decided to make people of color exempt from mandatory mask policy, citing the potential for racial profiling. Now, the decision comes as multiple counties in Oregon have ramped up face covering requirements. I have to stop for a second. Aren't we kind of seeing this as a little bit fishy of referring to a mask as a face covering? I'm kind of really concerned about this terminology. It's a mask. Don't call it a face covering. It's a step towards wearing a burqa. I'm sorry. Requirements to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So Lincoln County's general directive requires everyone to wear a face covering in any indoor public setting or outdoor setting where 6 feet of social distancing can't be maintained. But the county wrote on its website, people of color who have heightened concerns about racial profiling and harassment due to wearing face coverings in public are exempt from the rule. Other exemptions include children under age of 12, people with particular medical conditions or disabilities. Now, I never realized that black was being a disability. You know, most of my black friends would be kind of pissed about being put into the same category as disabled people for being black. Hell, if I was black, as well as being gay and disabled, in this county, they would probably make me the mayor. I'm tired of this bullshit, really, I am. Yes, exactly, face covering. Hi, CV, welcome to the live feed. I'm actually sick. To me, this is more divide, and I think black people out there should be really pissed about being categorized in the same category as disabled people and people with health concerns, like being black is a disability. I mean, come on, more inverted racism in the United States of America. And finally, this is the I was like the and finally section. Radio 6 listeners took to social media to blast the station after it played a song containing a racial slur. The mistake happened during Carice Matthews' Sunday show. Now, the track in question was singer Thomas Fraser's cover of the 1940 song, The Mississippi Shore. Matthews introduced the hit by saying, "Shall we take a trip?" Well, virtually anyway, to the Isle of Burra, and it's around the 1940s, and we will be sitting on our craft after a busy working day, the land or fishing, and we'll have a reel-to-reel set up in front of us. We'll pick up our guitar, well, press record, and we'll start to sing this. Now, in the song, the Scottish artist sings the line, I can hear them, and they put this as the D word, and I couldn't think of what D word was a racial slur. So I went and looked it up, but the word was darkies, and the person who wrote the song apparently was a black guy, and so a black guy can't write the word darkies in the 1940. He says, I can hear the guitars playing. The station was later forced to apologize after angry listeners pointed out that the lyric aired on social media. One person tweeted, was there a deeply inappropriate lyric in there, or did I mishear? We got to change the lyrics of old songs now that were written by black people for black people. Are we tired of this? Yeah, racism is racism, Chet. You're absolutely right. I just am tired of this rhetoric. It really is ridiculous. CV says, I understand you've been running from a man who goes by the name of the Zan Man, America. Wow, I don't think anyone's running for me, but there's quite a few running towards me. And which is a great segue because we have time for a couple of calls. Run to me if you want to follow me. Run to me if you're feeling lonely. So if you're in the USA, you can call me on 845-363-4747. And if you are calling from the United Kingdom, you can call me on 0208-133-5274. That's 833... Sorry, that's 845-363-4747 if you're in the United States. But if you're in the UK, you can call me on 0208-133-5274. Janie says, got to use the right mouse. Janie says, why not have a national anthem for every ethnicity and race? Surely, why not? I thought we had one. Why should the type of race have one? This is America. One anthem till the end of the day. We are Americans. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Janie, because the thing that kind of I find really interesting about this is if we're striving towards equality, we are one America, whether we're black, white, gay, straight, whatever we are one America. So why do we need more than one anthem? I'm not subscribing to this bullshit. There, I said it. And I'm not going to be made to feel like I'm bad for that particular song. As far as I'm concerned, it's a classic. But you can't play it because it has that word in it. So let's see who our first caller is on the Xander Gibb Show. What's your name and where are you calling from, Chet? I think we lost you. Please call back.
I'm here then.
Oh, you're there. It sounded like you weren't there. How are you and how was your weekend?
I'm here.
And how fabulous was that guest you had on Sunday? I mean, I was well impressed.
He's always pretty good, isn't he? He
Yeah.
does a good job.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
His hair is a bit girly, but apart from that, I think he's pretty good. His commentary is spot on.
I thought this Sunday's show, all the guests were great, including yourself. You always
Absolutely.
do a great job. And we always get a great response to your appearances on Freedom on Deck. So we appreciate everything you do for us, man, for sure.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys too.
You know, what I'm seeing with Joe Biden and the lack of coverage from, of course, the typical mass media agents that cover up everything that he's done from his inception to the Senate to right now when he's running for the highest office in the land, to see that they actually put out this transcript where he uses the N-word 15 times,
Yeah.
and CNN has not covered it yet, that should tell you everything that you need to know about the Democrat Party and
Right.
the direction that man would take this country in.
But they're saying, and I saw something about this today. I saw someone commentating, and they were saying that his use of the word Negro was not offensive because Negro is not the same as the N-word. But I think when you're using it in a derogatory way, because what he actually said several times was, we don't want another Negro in the powerhouse. Now, to me, that is derogatory against black people. I mean, I just spent 10 minutes getting pissed off about the word, people getting upset about the words darkies in a song from 80 years ago, which was kind of part of the narrative back then. I'm not saying it makes it right, but it was written by a black guy. But to actually use the word Negro in this terminology, as far as I'm concerned, is racist.
And it just shows you the hypocrisy of the left. I mean, we're in the era of the cancel culture. Anything that offends you, no matter what it is, if it's a statue, if it's a song verse, if it's an actor,
right.
If it's part of history, if it's in a textbook, burn the books, rip it down, replace it, and just take America down brick by brick. But the lead kid, the guy that's running for the highest office in the land, You can't say anything bad about him, even though you are right. The way that he used that word was offensive.
Yeah.
And you know what? I never use that word, right?
No.
I don't go around saying Negro during the day when I'm talking about a black person, and neither should Joe Biden.
No.
Whether it's in the 1980s or now.
I mean, I learned a very important lesson a few years ago. I was in London one day, and this guy, this big West Indian guy scared me. I'd got the wrong ticket, and he said, he said in this broad West Indian accent, he said, "Hey, you, chunky, get over there and pay the excess fare," which was quite funny. But I said to my sister, "Oh, blah, 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 this black guy." And she said, "Why did you feel the need to tell me he was black?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not sure I was telling the story." But it's kind of even imprinted in our terminology to over-explain. But that wasn't an over-explanation with him. I mean, was it an over-explanation when he said, if you're not black if you're voting for Donald Trump? If you're not voting for me, you ain't black. I mean, wow. To a black guy on a black show.
Because, Xander, he's gotten away with it for his entire life. And he continues to get away with it. I actually heard, and I can't think of her name, she's a host for NPR. She said that these transcripts, that they should not ask Joe Biden about these transcripts because he's not ready to do interviews yet.
Right.
This is the absolute craziness that is coming out of the left right now. You can't ask Joe Biden about his terminology that he used that was derogatory towards black people because he's not ready to do an interview yet.
But although he said recently that he's prepared to debate Donald Trump, but I don't think he'll do it in person because you can't. I don't think you can have notes and teleprompter at the debate. Not that the Donald would need it, but I think great big sack of popcorn that night to sit and watch that, because that is going to be a sight to behold. But do you know what? I have a conscience, and I think it would be unfair to do that to Joe Biden because he is clearly dementing. And I think the Democrats need to grow a set of balls themselves and actually pull him or replace him, which is what they were going to do anyway. But it's already gone too far as I'm concerned. From a mental health cruelty perspective, it's gone too far.
Well, if he can't, Xander, if he can't debate Donald Trump, then he's not, he should not be the candidate. Now, listen, I love the fact that Biden's in the race because Donald Trump is going to chew him inside and out and spit him out 6 ways to Sunday.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Is absolutely going to happen. There's no way Joe Biden can go toe-to-toe with a guy that has sat in so many boardroom meetings with some of the biggest daggers in New York, who has had to twist arms and everything that he's gone through over the past year and a half with people trying, since he's been in office, trying to take him down. Joe Biden wouldn't last 5 seconds. He'd be done.
Right. Swoop,
it's not even close.
Swoop just said in the live feed, it's actually much more than the use of the word. He's basically saying we don't want a person in that position because of his color, and that is simply racist.
Right.
I agree 200%.
Yeah, it is.
And CV says,
I agree.
Stone can save this Negro if he wants. There is absolutely no law against it. There isn't. Hi, Maria. Welcome to the live feed. There isn't a law against it, but I think we have to ensure that what comes out of our mouth is as wholesome as it can possibly be. And racism is not wholesome in any way, shape, or form. Whoever it's coming from.
And the other part of it is the double standard. I'm not going to say that it's okay to say what Biden said because someone else that I like may have said it.
Yeah,
that's not
exactly.
the way we roll. We don't roll like Democrats.
Exactly.
Democrats always, they say they go higher, they never do, ever. And then when they get called out, they never get called out for long.
No.
You watch. Biden will not be asked once about this week.
No, but
he pisses me off.
But he should, and there is video evidence out there. There are videos circulating. If you type in YouTube Joe Biden, and then the word Negro, it will come up. And the wrath in this guy's voice when he's talking, quite rightly, as Swoop says, that he doesn't want a black person to get a position of power. And this is who they want to elect to the highest office in the land. You see, I'm tired of lesbians. I don't know where that came from. Liberals. I'm tired of
I'm tired of
lesbians and liberals. I'm tired of liberals that say Donald Trump is racist and then can't come up with one example of his examples of his racism.
Exactly.
But
that's
then,
the whole point.
But then wait a minute. America is racist too, but they've elected a nearly black president twice, and look at all that President Trump has done for the black community. I was going to say African American. See how we are conditioned? Like most of my black friends say, I ain't African American. I've never even been to Africa. Lowest black unemployment ever. I want that on a t-shirt too, as well as Zanitized and oh yes siree. Lowest black unemployment ever. Let that sink in. Pre-COVID, lowest black unemployment ever. That's great for a racist, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, and there's some good points to what CB's saying in the feed, that the discussion shouldn't be the main discussion that we are talking about. Unfortunately,
right.
The Democrat Party has nothing else. So it's going to be a part of the discussion. And I am going to focus on their racism.
Right.
Because they are the racists.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah.
And not President Trump. It's Joe Biden and all the goddamn liberals without a spine that have been churning out this crap in the black community for far too long.
Absolutely. And a wonderful CV impersonation there. Applause
well, I
for
had to
that.
do it once. Now he can get on my case.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, he just had me laughing. He just said, Stevie just said he's never tired of lesbians.
Well, liberal lesbians are different.
Yeah.
The point is here, Xander, the ultimate hypocrisy, the same double standard that they used with Christian Saucier and with Hillary Clinton is what you're seeing developing with Joe Biden's run for the White House.
What was it she said? Super predators that need to be brought to heel. I mean, how amazing that any politician can talk about people of color in that way, and then where I nearly swore then. Where the hell is Black Lives Matter when this commentary like that has occurred? Hi to Pamela. Welcome to the live.
They get a lot of money from the Clinton Foundation, Xander.
Yeah.
So you don't upset the apple cart. You never do that.
No. But isn't that disgusting? You see, because this is the thing. The conversation that America needs to have about racism is either it's bad for everybody to be racist, or we just it's just all out, say what you please. You can't have the Canadian Prime Minister doing blackface and that be acceptable, but because someone happens to be conservative or have conservative leanings, that they're bad or wrong for doing that, because we have to have a standard in the United States. And I don't agree with much that Oprah said, but Oprah said once, she said, when I'm in New York and I'm going my sister's bar, it's a very mixed bar, and there are a lot of cops in there, there are black guys, and the black guys always say to me, yo, N-word, and then they laugh because they know I can't say it back. But if I did, that would be considered funny. But in the terminology and the way that the other people are using it, it's actually offensive. But I wouldn't even consider saying that back as a joke because of what it is attached to it,
I understand. And it should be treated like that. The problem is the Democrats never want to dig up the past in their party and confront it, and they never have. They said the parties switched. You've heard that one.
Yeah.
The parties didn't switch. I mean, you can go watch Dinesh D'Souza's Hillary's America. Great movie, and he got such a horrible reaction from inside the minority communities with the Democrats, not the people, but the Democrats like John Lewis, rest his soul, and the others. And they painted Dinesh D'Souza, who came here legally as an immigrant, is a man of color, and he's a conservative, and he's a very, very fact that Hillary, when she started up, was interning for Robert Byrd, who was a Klansman, not only a Klansman, but he was a Grand Wizard, and she spoke at his funeral.
Yeah, but wasn't she commenting on some conservative that had a relationship with Robert Byrd? I mean, she was freaking sleeping with him. It's common knowledge. There's pictures of them kissing in public. So don't tell me you're anti-racist if you're sleeping with the Grand freaking Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. There you go. It's a shout fest tonight. CV said, how come Chet is allowed to yell? He's passionate, CV. He's passionate and he's angry. As long as he doesn't...
And I didn't yell through the whole call.
No.
That's the difference.
No, and the other thing is he didn't tear down any of my statues, did you? You didn't tear down any of my statues.
No. Well,
no.
You know, and really what you said about Hillary is 100% true.
Yeah.
It's there. People can look it up if they want to. But you don't really need to look anything up, folks. I mean, the bottom line is the Democrats have been lying to the minority community for so long, and America's waking up to their crap, Xander. People do not want to deal with a party that constantly talks about race and racism.
Right.
Because when you constantly talk about race, you are the racist.
You are.
And if
You are.
everything's racist, nothing's racist.
No, you're absolutely right. But the liberals have actually done that because that's their MO. Like I said earlier, I was accused of being homophobic, and I'm gay. I've also been accused of being a racist, and in my adult life, I've had 3 relationships, and only one of them was with a white person. So not only am I racist and homophobic because it fits their narrative, but it's insulting. Swoop says you can't legislate racism out of society. The simple truth is the country's view of people is drastically different than it was in the 1700s to the 1960s, and he's absolutely right.
My grandmother who immigrated here, her last name's Yoakum. That was her maiden name. Obviously, I have the blood in me. For me to be called a Nazi, and I have been multiple times, hurts. It hurts, and it doesn't feel right. But they do it to me over and over and over again. They do it to everyone. They do it because they want to dehumanize us. They want to turn us into the villains. And they've been doing this for a long, long time. The difference is they used to do it to people in the minority community.
Yeah.
And now they do it to conservatives.
Exactly. Hi to Carla. Welcome to the live feed. CV says... oh, no, I'm not reading that out. Ugh. Behave, CV. The thing is that I think we have to adjust the narrative with the left. And I don't know, for me, it's important to kind of stand up to this because I think that when you don't, it's like what they're saying is true. And that's of concern to me because, I don't really care what people say. If it's true, say what you like. Call me a big fat conservative homo. It's true. But don't call me racist or homophobic because those things are not true at all.
Well, that's what they do. They pull out things with no facts behind it because they are reactionary. They slander you in the meanest possible way. The reason they say you're homophobic is because they know it's going to get your goat. That's what it is.
Don't bring goats into the conversation because goat lives matter too.
I didn't even mean to do that.
I know.
Happened organically.
That was Freudian, wasn't it? Have you heard this CV? He's talking about
goats. The best thing to arm yourself with is facts.
Well,
if you have facts behind your argument and behind the debate, then you will defeat them. They will not admit it, and they will not give you any type of credit, but the people listening will know.
Well, I just say, my black gay Jewish husband thinks you're an idiot too. So it's better to have a comedic response because I think that they think they're triggering us all the time because we correct them. And actually, with some people, I just block them now because you can't educate idiocy. You can't change people's perspective. I mean, God, I ask people from the time when I was a Democrat, I'm like, God, was I really that brainwashed? And they say, well, actually, no, Zen, you were always prepared to kind of discuss things. And I think that's the difference. Because wherever we are politically, we should always be open to civil discourse. Because if we're not, then what is the point, you know?
And that's the reason why you came over to the light and got away from the dark.
Yeah.
Because you listened and you talked about it and you absorbed it.
Yeah.
And once you got the facts, you said to yourself, "This ain't me."
Yeah, I actually kept hearing the voices saying, "Come into the light, little Zanny G," and I was there, you know.
There are so many voices like yours, Xander, that the left attacks because you woke up. And
right.
none of anybody that's made the right decision should be ashamed of coming to the right-hand side of the aisle, because that's the side that you want to be on. Look at the way when they make these movies. There's a new one out with Larry Elder in it. It's called Uncle Tom, and it follows the life of these conservative Black Americans that decided to come over, and they are squashing it. There are no commercials because none of the channels will carry it. None of the radio stations will carry it. So the only way you can go see the movie is by going online and ordering it. You know, they do this all the time. And if I was a Democrat or a liberal, I would be offended if they didn't want me to see another side of the talking point.
Right.
But they always do that.
But I think that's what it is. They actually don't want you to see the other side of what is going on, because they're afraid that you will see the truth, because this is what it's about. You know, I often talk about, you know, in the Tom and Jerry cartoons, and there's an angel one side and there's a demon the other. I know I joked with you about the darkness and the light, but it is about darkness and light. It is about right and wrong. And I think that that even with politics, it's even so simple as about common sense. Because that's what sells it for me, nothing more. Hi to Russell, welcome to the live feed. It's about common sense.
It absolutely is, and that's really the perfect way to dot the T and cross the I. I mean, you said it right there. It's common sense. When somebody has common sense and they see the right side telling them how it all lays out and giving them examples of where they can go and get this information from, and when they go to ask their leftist, and the leftist says to them, "Don't listen to them.
Right.
Just don't go look." Why are they doing that? Why?
Exactly.
Because they know it's the truth.
Exactly. We got to leave it there, because I'm going to bring my guest on in just a moment if he hasn't been arrested already. Those who watched the show last week will know exactly.
I'm going to be watching to see if anything happens.
Yeah, exactly.
They took cops off the air, Xander, so I need something.
Yeah, I'll be singing that the theme tune to Cops. Isn't it bad that they took that off? I love that show. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Anyway, excuse me, bursting into song. Thank you so much for joining us, Chet Martin. Tell people where they can find you.
FreedomOnDeck.com has everything there listed. Just go there and check us out. And Dan, I'll try not to yell anymore, okay?
Good. Yeah, you and CV need to go into a quiet corner somewhere.
All righty. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. Take care. That was my good friend Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Check them out at freedomondeck.com. Chet will be back tomorrow, I'm sure. And he will be my guest on Friday nights, as usual. I don't know what is going on with his Skype page, but it's gone very, 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 very big. Where are we? Go away. It's like it won't. I'm not filling in a form, Skype. Skype wants me to fill in a form to tell them how good the call was. Carlos says, me and my 3 other friends laid into him for 2 days. He wouldn't budge. He finally shut up, and after that I blocked him. Facts don't faze him. Facts never faze liberals. So I'm guessing it was a liberal. So my next guest is the host of Go Right News. He is Peter Boykin, and he's going to be calling us any minute now from the United States of America. As I said, if he doesn't get arrested. Got a couple of great stories to discuss with him. Let's come to the live feed for a second while we wait. I wanted to just go back. Something Keith said, Swoop said. When I say Keith, I'm like, who is Keith? Swoop says the name calling keeps you on the defensive. Need to go on the offense. Offense wins the game. That's why you have to shut them down immediately when you're called names by them and keep them on the defense. I would absolutely agree with that. Oh, I thought I'd close down the Skype for a second there. As I said, I'm just waiting for my guest to call in. He is Peter Boykin, and he is the host of Go Right News, and he's going to be calling from the United States of America. Oh, yes, sirree. I thought that was quite funny when Chet was talking about goats, talking about people getting my goat, with all the talk about goats' lives matter. That goes on the show. Do you have a goat? Do you like goat's milk? Call us next time we're on the air and we can talk more about goats' lives, and goat's milk. Chet is bragging that it's brutally hot in NYC. Get in your pool. Sit by your pool, dude. You'll be fine. I so wish I had a pool. My yard is not finished yet. I'm just getting my yard sorted out. I'm going to have a hot tub out there because you can use it as a cold tub too when the weather is really hot. I mean, just imagine that, sitting in cold water, even if you can't swim, sitting in cold water for a period of time to cool down. Chet saying he thought he was going to pass out today. I don't know, dude. You should just use your pool, You'd be fine. Let's see if I can see where our guest is. Late as usual. If he has been arrested, I ain't stumping up for the bail. Absolutely. I won't be doing that at all. Where are we? Where is he? Let's see where he is. Can't abide lateness to give him a tardy slip. Oh, yes, sir. Let's come back to the live feed. Can't get this to disappear. There we go. Yes, I agree with you, Chet. I'm not going to say that on the air. Oh, Chet says he wasn't at home, or he certainly would. Yeah, you can't beat that. You can't beat having a pool. That's why I used to love house sitting for my sister, because she had a pool. Or has a pool. Seems like our guest had forgotten that he was on the air. I don't know. So if you're lucky enough to have a pool out there, think of those of us that don't have pools, that have a pool envy going on. Well, I think this is the last time we're going to be booking him tonight. I'm sorry, I'm just having to share the number again. Just can't get the guests. See, they can't all be like you, Chet. I'm sorry about this. Oh, yes, sirree. So I'm working on merchandise this week. So we will have some Yes Sirree t-shirts available to purchase. Chet said the boys were here with Grandma enjoying it and the AC. Your boys are very lucky. Stevie says, I was asleep, paralysis last night with the usual accompanying nightmare, and I screamed and screamed. My wife and my cat. What was the nightmare? Was it that Joe Biden was president? Because that surely would be a nightmare to behold. Here we go. This should be our guest, Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Welcome back to the show. How is the world with you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, thank you. How's it going with you?
Well, I didn't want to leave you hanging without a guest. Hey man, to bail you out.
Oh, I think I just put the phone down on the guest, CV. I didn't. I thought that was my guest calling in.
He did call. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
he
sorry.
he
Then I'll
just
let you
called
go.
and I cut the phone off with him because I thought that was him calling. But thank you for checking in anyway. Thanks.
All right, have a good show. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Hello to Brian in the live feed. Welcome. I hope you're good. Carla says our mini pin had sleep paralysis last week, scared us to death. He fell off the bed. Oh gosh. I have to say I worry more about pets than I do people, which is terrible, I know. This should be my guest calling from the United States of America, Peter Boykin from Go Right News. We thought you'd been arrested.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hey, how's it going?
It's going good. We thought you'd been arrested.
No. The rumors of my demise have been over-exaggerated.
Greatly exaggerated. Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in because we're pushed for time. Can you turn your speakerphone off because it's getting feedback?
Okay.
All right. So our first story for tonight. Maxine Waters intervened during a traffic stop involving a black driver to ensure cops were doing their job properly. The representative was driving her in her district in California on Friday when she spotted a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Patrol car. She spotted cops detaining a black driver during a traffic stop in Los Angeles. Now, the officers were in the process of detaining the guy, prompting her to immediately hit her brakes and hop out of her car. Her presence was apparently not well received, as she said the sheriff's deputies told her she was illegally parked and in danger of getting a ticket. Waters explained to the person filming that she was curious to see what officers were up to once she realized they had stopped the guy. She said, they stopped a brother, so I stopped to see what they were doing, she told the camera person. Waters, a staunch advocate of police reform, pushed for the removal of chokeholds in national law enforcement tactics earlier this month. She also said it's time for the country to focus on the fact that another young black man, unarmed, has been killed by someone who is supposed to protect and serve. Who knew being black was either a get-out-of-jail-free card in Waters' district, but also, would she have stopped the car if it had been a white guy getting a ticket?
I'll tell you the truth. I mean, honestly, these legislators need to realize the whole system of government, and they're not the police.
Right.
So stopping, she's a regular private citizen kind of when she's not really in the legislature. Her stopping and trying to get into meddling of business, I mean, she should be arrested herself. I mean, it's none of her business what the police are doing. She could be. She doesn't know. And the cops don't have time to sit there and try to explain to all these extra parties. And that's the biggest problem, especially happens in urban cities where police do their job and then all these onlookers just show up, start pulling out phones and broadcasting live and people getting upset about what these people are doing because it's all about context.
Right.
Context is a huge thing. The reason why these cops need to make sure they have their body cameras on, and they have to be on at all times. I'm tired of the excuse where it wasn't on at this time, and we had one here locally where body camera wasn't on. They decided not to press charges on the individual. This person was busting through the front of their house and ran into the officer and apparently shot the guy. So the camera wasn't on beforehand, but it was on afterwards. And every time you think, the camera's not on, that's the problem you have now that they have the body cameras. When you don't have it on and they don't have the footage, and they feel like somebody's guilty, but sometimes the camera's just not on.
But if you're a cop, wouldn't you want it on all the time? Because I know I would, because it actually protects you. Because if a perp or someone that you believe was guilty of a crime said, he said this or he said that, at least with camera footage, it's a kind of a provability thing. But if I had been that cop, I would have made her go and get in the car, or I would have arrested her, because isn't that interfering with police business? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're going to have to go in the car. I understand who you are, but, you know, if you keep interfering, I will have to treat you like a private citizen.
Yeah.
And you will be detained.
Yeah.
Even if they mean they put her in the police car and put her in the cuffs and put her in the back of the police car while they do their business.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, all right, well, we're done with our business. We're going to let you go with all you know, on a reprimand or whatever. She could raise hell about it, but at the end of the day, they did their job. It's not her business to go bother what people are doing. People need to
Absolutely.
quit doing this. You know, everybody thinks they're a citizen journalist. Everybody thinks they can get involved and right in the middle of it. It's like, if you want to record it, stay back. But, you know, you've got to record it all. You've got to add commentary. You can't just flip your camera on or show up at the scene like halfway into it and start deciding what you think is going to go on. You're not an officer. Officers are officers. And I know that all these people thinking, white officers want to kill black people, but there's one that popped across my window on Facebook today was a white officer ran outside and saved a little black baby like a year ago. That went viral. Nobody talks about how many times white cops save black people every single day.
Well, that doesn't fit their narrative, does it? That's why. You know, if it fitted their narrative, that they would. I mean, I think the majority of police officers are good and do the job because they want to make a difference. But like every industry, there's going to be bad eggs. And they only focus on the bad things that happen with police officers. They don't care about They don't care about police officers when altercations happen with white people, because white people have died at the hands of cops as well. You know, I saw a video of last week of a guy that was shot in a hotel, and that was absolutely terrible. You know, there was no need for that. But there's no big media hype about that because, like I said, it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah, I mean that's the sad thing. I mean, I don't know what these people think that they want stuff about defunding the cops, because honestly, nobody went to go defund the cops. You know, I don't know. You probably saw it. Somebody just decided to call the police on me the other day for not wearing a mask inside of a McDonald's.
Wow.
And he was so quick to call the police, and I'm like, well, if they defunded the police, I guess you wouldn't have the mask police.
Great point. Did the police come? Did the cops come when they called them?
Yeah, they.
Wow.
You know, I left. I went and drove over to the convenience store that was right next adjacent to the McDonald's, and said, I'm going to sit here and video. And the police did come, and the police officer was very nice to me. He actually took his mask off, and we spoke, but he was even wrong, because sometimes the police don't know all the rules. You know, he's like, well, it's police business, they can do what they want. But that turned out afterwards, I'm like, not exactly, because under the ADA law, it's supposed to be an exception. They're not supposed to be able to deny me service, but they still did.
Right. Well, there was
you're under. You can have all the exemptions and all the laws all you want, but when you're dealing with probably a left-leaning person who won't listen to reason anyway, you know, it's up to them. It's up to
Absolutely.
their power.
There was an incident here the other day where someone was asked to leave, and they said, "Oh, I don't have to wear a mask because, you know, I've got medical exemption." And they said, "Where's your certificate?" And the response was, "Well, there's no damn certificate." "Oh, well, I believe there is, and if you don't have a certificate, then you have to wear a mask." So it is idiotic. There will be a financial implication to this for people who want to be this ridiculous. I want to move on to our next topic because we're time bound. President Trump refused to give a clear answer on whether he would accept this year's presidential election results in an exclusive, wide-ranging interview yesterday. He said, "I have to see. Look, you have to see. No, I'm not going to just say just yet. I'm not going to say it. No, I didn't last time either," President Trump said. Now, the exchange came shortly after Wallace asked whether Trump was a good loser and gracious. President Trump said he wasn't a good loser and that he thinks mail-in voting is going to be rigging the election. He said, "I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense." President Trump said in 2016. Election experts say President Trump's critique of mail-in voting as a pathway to fraud was largely unsubstantiated, but we know that that's not the case. Given the clear propensity with fraud with mail-in voting, isn't this an understandable response from the president?
Absolutely, because we just know that there's going to be all sorts of legal battles coming from this election,
right?
Especially when we deal with the mail-in ballots. if the Republican, if Trump gets reelected, and I'm sure he will, there's going to be, the Democrats are going to be fighting for every little vote and every little thing and every little holdup. And unless there's a clear like giant landslide that happens on election night, we're not going to find out. We're not going to find out for a while. And I remember in the 2000 election with what was going on with the hanging chads there in Florida. Just imagine how much mess is going to be throughout the whole United States.
Yeah.
Of ballots and things. I mean, and it's an unfair election. I mean, it really is an unfair election for a president because there is states that will not allow him to hold rallies. He didn't even get the have a right right convention. And you've got Joe Biden, who I think is going to try to weasel out of doing even a debate. I mean, it'll be the first time we've ever, in modern history and some in past history, ever not had a debate between two presidents. Our two candidates, and with all the stuff that's been going on, I just feel like they postponed everything else. I kind of feel like the election needs to be postponed. I feel like with Russiagate, and honestly, if it was up to me, when it comes to impeaching a president and finding nothing and basically wasting his time, I think there needs to be penalties when it comes to impeaching a president. I feel
of course.
Like that involves yielding the time back to the president for wasting his time for a year or two.
It's no different. Go ahead.
I mean, it's almost like, to me, I believe Donald Trump should win automatically because of what's going on.
If only.
Not just because I want him to be, I would think that, I kind of would think that even, I know people would boo me, I kind of think that even if we had a Democratic president. I just feel like it's an unfair election, period, either it was Republican or a Democrat president.
Right.
It's just we've never met this before. We've never had this issue. It's kind of like a wartime, kind of issue. Like you don't really do too much elections during a wartime because it's kind of hard to figure out.
Right.
And it's been such hype that how do you really have a fair election? I mean,
exactly.
I don't even see it.
I'm just
100-something days away, and there's not even political signs outside.
No. Well, it's interesting. You meant what you mentioned with regards to Russiagate. Because, in real terms, in any other situation, the president would have been able to sue for malicious prosecution because they go on and on and on. If you did that to a private citizen in the United States, they would have the right to sue for malicious prosecution. But obviously, as he's the president, he can't do that. So I think that there is a possibility of the election being delayed. And if he does delay the election because obviously of the COVID, they can stop everything else because of COVID. I don't think it would be such a bad thing, but I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, it probably won't. I mean, believe me, if it was a Democrat in the White House, he would be doing everything in his power and putting a stop to a regular election if he even thought about losing. And I feel like these polls or whatever, I know Trump might be worried, but I'm not. These polls are bull crap. Polls can be viewed depending on who you ask, where you ask, what questions you ask. I don't believe these polls for a minute, but if it makes the Democrats or the left or whatever feel like they're winning, fine. The problem is it conditions them to feel like when Donald Trump wins again, they'll be upset, just like the first election, because somebody's told them they won the whole time, and then they lose, and then they're going to say, oh, somebody's cheating. But we know that Donald Trump has the same support, if not more, definitely more support. I mean, I've seen reports from Brandon with the Walkaway campaign. They've grown so many more people, and then all of my groups, many people have, gone right, walked away, et cetera, because of the COVID, because they've woken up and figured out that the left are running these places and they're sick of it. And there's so many people out there wearing these masks that hate wearing masks, and they're just worried. People are worried, but I think a lot of people are like, they know who's making them wear masks. Who's making them do this stuff?
Absolutely.
I don't think they're going to take it out on Trump because they've got sense to realize that Trump hadn't done a damn thing to them.
Exactly.
That Trump is going to probably put us back and look at the economy. We didn't go into a giant depression because of the strides that Donald Trump has done for our economy. I mean, that's we have to have. I mean, most presidents do get a second term because a lot of people don't like change first.
Absolutely.
And then, Biden's biggest thing is talking about he wants to transform America. I think America's had enough transformation.
I think so too. We got to leave it there, unfortunately, Peter. But tell people where they can find you and when they can listen to your show.
Yep, I am on Facebook. Everywhere you look for Peter Boykin. I'm on GoRightNews.com, and I'm on YouTube. Just look me up. I'm basically Telegram, Parler, YouTube, online, everywhere, kind of semi-hidden on Twitter. But I'm just out, so if you do hashtag GoRight, you're going to find my information out there. Got multiple websites, multiple groups. So not hard to find me. Even though, social media tries to bury you.
Absolutely.
You can find me.
And you can find Peter's contact information on the Xander Gibb show page for today. But for now, thank you so much for joining us, Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Thanks a lot, buddy. Take care.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. That was Peter Boykin from Go Right News. Make sure you check him out. Thanks to Chip Martin from Freedom on Deck for calling us. Make sure you check him out too. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can check me out 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 10 a.m. down there in Australia. Join us tomorrow for more scintillating chat when I am joined by Chris Saucier and Tony Lasarco. Oh, yes, sir. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. Thanks for sharing. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. Take care. And I really do love you all. Share the show. And don't forget to go and like the Xander Gibb Show page on Facebook. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the other bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh, yes, sir.